Greetings, seekers of knowledge. Have you ever wondered what secrets the universe holds that we have yet to discover? From eternal storms on giant planets to water in unexpected corners of the cosmos, there are so many wonders and mysteries waiting to be explored. In this video, we will take you on an incredible journey through space and time. Get ready to be amazed and question the vastness of our universe. Don't miss it, and make sure to subscribe and leave your comment at the end about any other facts I might have overlooked. The Great Red Spot on Jupiter is a gigantic storm that has been raging for at least 400 years. When it was first discovered, it was 3 times the size of our entire planet. The farthest we can see today in space is 13.2 billion light-years away. It took the Hubble Space Telescope 10 years to capture a single image from such a distance. It is believed that the universe is 13.7 billion years old, but it is constantly expanding, and now is probably around 93 billion light-years in diameter. But that's just what we can observe. Scientists believe there are billions and billions of light-years of space beyond the edge of the observable universe. It is believed that comets enter the solar system from the Oort cloud, a theoretical field of asteroids that is about 2,000 times farther from us than the Sun. Black holes are not completely black. They have their own barely visible hue due to the amount of magnetic dust in the atmosphere. On Mars, sunsets are dark blue. The largest asteroid in the solar system is called Vesta, and is so large that it is sometimes even called a dwarf planet. A trip to the nearest star to the Sun would take 5 million years on a commercial airplane. That's what I call a long-distance flight. Venus rotates at its own leisurely pace. A full rotation takes 243 Earth days, and it takes the planet a little less than 225 Earth days to orbit the Sun, meaning a day on Venus is longer than a year. There are tens of thousands of black holes at the center of our galaxy, the Milky Way. Hundreds of them are paired with a star, and almost 10,000 are isolated. Black holes are impossible to detect because light cannot escape from them. Astronomers can only track them with the help of X-rays, or by estimating their gravitational pull. You can see solar eclipses because although the moon is 400 times smaller than the sun, it is also 400 times closer to Earth, so it can perfectly obscure the star. But in 50 million years, the moon will no longer be able to completely block the sun due to its changing orbit. The tallest mountain in the solar system is Olympus Mons on Mars, 3 times taller than Mount Everest, the tallest mountain on Earth above sea level. If you were standing on the top of Olympus Mons, you wouldn't realize you were standing on a mountain. Its slopes are hidden by the curvature of the planet. A complete NASA spacesuit costs an incredible $12 million. 70% of this considerable sum is for the control module and the backpack. Astronomers have found a huge reservoir of water in space, the largest ever detected. Unfortunately, it is also the farthest away, 12 billion light-years from us. The cloud of water vapor contains 140 trillion times more water than all the Earth's oceans combined. Space is not supposed to be black. There are stars everywhere. So shouldn't they illuminate everything around them? Not in some places, because some of them haven't existed long enough for their light to reach Earth. At first glance, the moon seems to be as large as the sun, but it's just an illusion. The star is 400 times larger than Earth's satellite, but it is also 400 times farther from us than the moon. That's why these celestial bodies appear to be the same size. Saturn has a moon called Pan that looks like a ravioli. It is only 32 kilometers wide and acts as a shepherd of Saturn's rings. The moon clears an empty space between the rings, known as the gap, and keeps it free of ring particles. All the planets in the solar system would fit between Earth and the moon with some space to spare. There are large temperature fluctuations on the moon. Near the equator of the satellite, the temperature ranges from minus 173 degrees Celsius at night to 127 degrees Celsius in the afternoon. Saturn's rings are very thin compared to their size. If you had a scale model of the planet 90 centimeters wide, the rings would be 10,000 times thinner than a razor blade. Mercury is billions of years old. In 2016, scientists discovered some anomalies on the planet's surface that show it is shrinking. After further research, they found that Mercury is still not done cooling. Although Venus is the hottest planet in our solar system, it has snow. But it's not what you'd expect: metal snow and acid rain. Not a great place for a vacation. A day on Uranus lasts 17 hours, 14 minutes, and 24 seconds. But get this, the planet has a tilt of about 98 degrees. making a season on the gas giant last 21 Earth years. Mars has 2 moons, Phobos and Deimos. In the next 30 to 50 million years, Mars's gravitational forces will tear Phobos apart, likely resulting in the formation of a ring around the planet. The latest scientific theories suggest that Venus may have had a pleasant and stable climate for billions of years before something went wrong. Astronomers thoroughly investigated and built a model of a virtualized world similar to Venus. This model showed that for most of its history, the hot planet had oceans with liquid water, suitable temperatures, and stable tectonic plates. In fact, the planet resembled early Earth. Scientists believe that this period of Earth-like development could have lasted more than 3 billion years. So, during that time, the planet was probably covered with oceans ranging from 9 to 304 meters deep. Additionally, there was some water in the planet's soil. Moreover, Venus had stable temperatures of 20 to 50 degrees Celsius, which you must admit was quite pleasant and not too different from today's Earth temperatures. So what I'm saying is that for 3 billion years until something irrevocable happened 700 million years ago, Venus could have been habitable. What caused Earth's sister planet to become a scorching hell remains a mystery. However, researchers have several ideas about what could have happened. The main theory links the dramatic changes on Venus to a massive geological event that resurfaced more than 80% of the planet. During this catastrophe, large amounts of magma began to bubble up and release tons of CO2, aka carbon dioxide, into the atmosphere. When something like this happens on Earth, the oceans absorb most of the CO2 gas, thus effectively removing its excess from the atmosphere. But on Venus, everything went terribly wrong. The magma solidified on the planet's surface, covering the rocks with a thick, impenetrable layer, and this barrier prevented the rocks from reabsorbing the CO2. A similar large-scale degassing occurred on Earth about 500 million years ago, creating the famous Siberian traps and probably leading to a mass extinction. But even this event was nothing like the tragedy that unfolded on Venus. The planet's atmosphere soon became 90 times denser than Earth's. No wonder that, combined with huge amounts of CO2, it caused a runaway greenhouse effect. As a result, the planet's temperature soared to an astonishing 462 degrees Celsius. On top of that, so much solar radiation began to hit the poor planet that it simply could no longer hold liquid water on its surface. These conditions obviously would not have been particularly attractive for any living being to survive on the planet. At the same time, scientists are almost certain that before this catastrophic turning point, there could have been life on Venus. But before researchers can say for sure, they need to figure out 2 important things. First, they need to understand if the catastrophe that led to such dramatic changes on Venus was a one-time event or a series of events that have been occurring for billions of years. And second, astronomers need to find out if the planet could have indeed condensed liquid water. This means more research, and definitive answers will only be possible after more missions are sent to explore Venus. This way, scientists could better understand the planet's evolution and history. But in any case, there is a good chance these missions will show that Venus used to be habitable and very different from what it is now. And it will open up all kinds of possibilities for humanity. You see, despite Venus's climate changing so dramatically and the planet seeming totally uninhabitable, scientists do not deny that one day the hot planet could transform again. They say that since the planet had a stable climate before, there is a possibility it could sustain it again. And if people did some ecological engineering, the changes would probably hold. What do you think? Could Venus one day become a beautiful world covered in oceans? Write your opinion in the comments section below. And now, how about some other interesting facts about Venus, one of Earth's closest neighbors? Sunlight takes only 6 minutes to reach Venus. This planet has the most circular orbit of all the planets in the solar system. Paradoxically, a day on Venus is longer than a year. Check it out for yourself. It takes the planet 243 Earth days to complete one rotation on its axis. At the same time, Venus orbits the Sun in 224 Earth days. Venus has more volcanoes than any other planet in the solar system. Astronomers have already discovered 1,600 on its surface, but there may be others too small for people to see. Most of these volcanoes are no longer active, but some may still be bubbling. If there were no gravity in space, Earth wouldn't be able to keep the Moon close to itself. All the planets and stars would fly freely through the universe, crash into each other, and well, things would probably end very quickly. Gravity can be small but never absent. This is one of its laws. For astronauts and Earth's gravity, it is only 10% less in orbit than on the ground. If we build a platform 300 to 400 kilometers high, which is the ISS's altitude above Earth, and throw a stone from there, it would fall in the same way it falls from your balcony. This is what happens in the science fiction movie Ad Astra. A person falls from a tower so high that it reaches the upper atmosphere where the ISS is. Now you know the writers understood the laws of physics. They weren't supposed to float in space. But then, why don't astronauts walk on the floor of the ISS like we do on Earth? The reason is that when they are in orbit, they are in a constant state of free fall towards Earth. The ISS is also falling towards Earth all the time. Sounds crazy. Don't forget that the ISS also moves horizontally around the planet almost all the time. As a result, it makes a full circle around Earth following the planet's curve. The speed needed to achieve this orbit is called orbital speed, and it is approximately 7.9 kilometers per second or 28,100 kilometers per hour. Sometimes, the ISS drops and gets closer to Earth. To compensate for this, the space station's control center corrects its orbit and fires its engines for a short time to raise it to the previous altitude. If you haven't become an astronaut as you wanted when you were a kid, you still have the chance to feel like one on the ground. When you sit in a roller coaster car and first climb to the top of the track and then fall sharply, you will be in free fall and feel what astronauts feel almost all the time. Another option is to take a flight in a small plane that can do aerial acrobatics. When you fly a pattern called a parabola, you will also be in a state of zero gravity for some time. Not the most pleasant feeling, right? That said, why don't they raise the ISS higher above Earth where astronauts wouldn't have to free fall? Astronauts can stay on the ISS for so long because the upper atmosphere protects them from solar radiation. At an altitude above 498 kilometers, there are radiation belts that have a destructive impact on humans. And then, if the ISS rises too high, Earth's gravity will become too weak to hold it and it will leave Earth's orbit. That's why those super folks have to train hard in special zero-gravity simulators before going to space. But is there zero gravity in open space? It's not like that. Or how could spacecraft fly to the moon or other planets? If a body is far enough from a celestial object, for example, a spacecraft flying to Mars from Earth, the gravity of the celestial object will be too small and their mutual attraction will balance out approximately. But no matter how far the bodies get from each other, their mutual attraction is never zero. We've explored some of the most fascinating wonders of space, but there are many more mysteries waiting to be unraveled. Have you ever wondered what it would be like to live without our brain? Check out our next video to discover surprising stories that defy logic and make us rethink what is truly necessary to live. You won't want to miss this incredible revelation. See you on the next journey of discovery.